What's up? I'm Lily Revenge Crown brings you the stories that keep you hooked. If that sounds good, smash subscribe and let's go.
The text came through at 9:47 p.m. on a Tuesday in October. I was reviewing contracts for a software deployment when my phone buzzed. Dad's message sat at the top of the family group chat, the one I'd been added to exactly twice a year for the past 5 years. Once for Christmas planning. Once for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is only for family members who've actually made something of themselves. Below it, Mom had added her own message. Sorry everyone, but we need to keep this year's gathering positive. Some people are going through difficult times and might not be comfortable around success. My brother Jason's response came 3 minutes later. Honestly, she'd just sit there embarrassed while we talk about our careers and houses. Better for everyone. I set my phone down and returned to my contract review. The silence that followed their messages felt familiar. Expected. I'd stopped trying to defend myself to them somewhere around year 3 of building my software consulting company. They'd decided who I was at 23 when I'd quit my entry-level marketing job to pursue programming. At 31, their narrative hadn't changed even though everything else had. The exclusion wasn't new. I'd spent the last 4 Thanksgivings alone or with friends. Last Christmas, I'd received a text from Mom on December 27th. Hope you had a nice holiday. We kept it small this year. Small apparently meant everyone except me. The family photos my cousin posted showed 23 people. What they didn't know, what I'd carefully kept from them, was that my going through difficult times had ended approximately 6 years ago. My software consulting firm had grown from me working alone in a studio apartment to a team of 47 employees across 3 offices. We'd landed contracts with 6 Fortune 500 companies. My personal income last year was $890,000. And 3 weeks ago I'd closed on a beach house in Malibu. $2.1 million. Cash offer. No mortgage. I hadn't told them. Why would I? They'd spent years perfecting their story about me. The disappointing daughter who'd never gotten her life together, who was too ashamed to show her face at family gatherings, who worked some vague computer job that clearly wasn't going anywhere. My Aunt Carol had always been different. She'd been the only one who'd asked questions about my work, who'd said, "I'm proud of you," when I'd shown her photos of my first office space. When I'd sent out invitations for my housewarming party, I'd included her without thinking twice. The party was Sunday afternoon. Catered food, professional bartender, 70 guests including clients, employees and college friends. My living room had floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Pacific. The November sun turned everything gold. Carol arrived at 2 p.m. with a bottle of wine and wide eyes. "Hey, sweetie. This is your house. Closed 3 weeks ago." I hugged her. "Come see the deck." She spent 20 minutes walking through every room, touching surfaces like she needed to confirm they were real. On the deck she turned to me. "Does your mother know about this?" "No." "Your father?" "Nope." "Jason?" "Definitely not." She studied my face for a long moment. "They uninvited you from Thanksgiving." I saw the group chat. "I'm sorry." She looked genuinely upset. "Your mother told everyone you were going through something. Like you were having a breakdown." "I know. She's been saying that for 5 years." I gestured toward the party inside. "Do I look like I'm having a breakdown?" Carol laughed, but her eyes were sharp. "Can I post photos?" I paused. This was the moment. Once family saw this house, saw my life, everything would change. The carefully maintained story they'd built about me would collapse. They'd call. They'd want explanations. They'd pretend they'd always known I was doing well. "Yeah," I said finally. "Post whatever you want." She took 17 photos. The kitchen with its marble counters and sub-zero appliances. The living room with contemporary furniture and art I'd commissioned from a local artist. The deck with the ocean view. The home office with its 3 monitors and bookshelf full of programming text. She even got a few shots of me laughing with guests, wearing a silk dress that cost more than my first car. At 4:37 p.m. while I was talking to my lead developer about a client pitch, my phone started vibrating continuously. Call after call. Text after text. I excused myself and checked the screen. 53 notifications. Carol had posted the photos to Facebook tagging me and I had to admire her thoroughness. Every single member of my immediate family. The first message was from Jason. "Is this real?" "Mom, honey, where is this?" Are you house sitting? Dad, call me immediately. My cousin Rachel. Oh, and I knew you were doing well, but this? Uncle Mark. Gorgeous place. Congratulations. Jason again. Seriously, whose house is this? I watched the messages pile up. 43. 72. 98. I took a screenshot of Dad's text from Tuesday. Thanksgiving is only for family members who've actually made something of themselves. And Jason's follow-up about me sitting there embarrassed. Then I posted it to the family group chat with a single line. I think I'll skip Thanksgiving this year. Thanks for the invitation. I turned my phone to silent and returned to my party. Monday morning I had 127 missed calls. I blocked my immediate family's numbers and went to work. My assistant Jennifer looked up when I entered. Your mother called the office 6 times. If she calls again, tell her I'm unavailable. Will do. She paused. Nice house photos, by the way. That view is insane. The exposure didn't stop at social media. My cousin Rachel, who I'd barely spoken to in a decade, apparently told her mother everything. Her mother told my mother's sister. By Wednesday, every branch of my extended family knew about the house. About my company. About the fact that I'd been quietly successful while my parents told everyone I was going through something. My uncle Mark called my office Thursday morning. Jennifer put him through. Your dad called me last night, he said without preamble. Wanted to know if I knew about your situation. My situation? His exact words. Did you know she was doing this well? Like you'd been hiding a criminal enterprise. Mark laughed. I told him yeah, I knew you'd started a company. Anyone who'd bothered asking would have known. Thanks, Mark. Your mother is telling people the house must be rented. Or that you married rich and are hiding it. I closed my eyes. Of course she was. The story couldn't be that I'd simply succeeded without them. I bought it cash. No mortgage. My financial advisor has the documentation. I figured. Listen, your grandmother wants to see you. She's pissed at your parents. Grandma Jean called that afternoon. She was 84 and didn't waste time on pleasantries. Your father told me you were unemployed. I run a software consulting firm. 47 employees. Your mother said you were working retail. I haven't worked retail since I was 19. How long has this been going on? The company? 8 years. The revenue? Seriously profitable for about 6. Silence. Then, and they didn't know? They didn't ask. Kept my voice level. They decided I was a failure when I quit that marketing job. They never updated the story. Even when you invited them to your office opening? I stopped inviting them to things 4 years ago. They never came anyway. More silence. When she spoke again, her voice was steel. I'm coming to California. I want to see this house. And your office. She arrived the following Tuesday with my Aunt Carol. I picked them up from LAX in my Tesla Model S. Another detail my parents hadn't known about. Grandma Jean ran her hand over the leather seats and said nothing. The house tour took an hour. She examined everything. Asked about the purchase price, the down payment, the property taxes. Looked at the documentation my realtor had prepared. Stood on the deck for 15 minutes just watching the waves. In my home office, she picked up the framed photo of my team at our last company retreat. These are your employees? Yes. How much do you pay them? Starting salary for junior developers is $95,000. Senior developers make $140,000 to $180,000 depending on experience. She set the photo down carefully. Your father told your Uncle Bob you were barely making rent. I haven't had a landlord in 4 years. I owned a condo in Santa Monica before this. Did they know about the condo? No. We had dinner at a restaurant in Malibu where I knew the owner. Marcus came to the table personally, hugged me, thanked me for the consulting work I'd done for his reservation system. Grandma Jean watched this interaction with sharp eyes. In the car back to their hotel, she finally spoke. You've been hiding this from them. No. I kept my eyes on the road. I stopped trying to tell them about my life when it became clear they weren't interested. That's not hiding. That's acceptance. They're calling everyone. Your mother wants to explain that there's been a misunderstanding. There hasn't been. The understanding is perfect. They decided I was an embarrassment. They excluded me from family events. They told relatives I was going through something to explain why I wasn't there. All of that is accurate. What changed is that other people now know what my actual life looks like. Carol in the back seat leaned forward. Your dad called me twice. Wanted to know why I posted those photos. What did you tell him? That I was proud of you. That I thought your family should see what you've accomplished. She paused. He tried to say you must have borrowed money. Maybe gotten into debt. I told him I'd seen the closing documents. You paid cash. Grandma Jean made a sound that might have been approval or might have been disgust. Your mother wants Thanksgiving back on. Says it was all a misunderstanding, that you were always invited. I have the texts that say otherwise. I know. I asked her to show me the group chat. She'd already deleted the messages. Her voice was ice. She thinks I'm senile. I'm not. The calls intensified Wednesday before Thanksgiving. My parents left voicemails that started apologetic and ended demanding. Why hadn't I told them? Why had I made them look like fools? How could I embarrass them in front of the whole family? Jason sent a text. Mom and Dad are freaking out. Just call them back. Tell them it's all okay. I didn't respond. My phone rang at 7 a.m. on Thanksgiving. I answered on the 10th ring. Finally. Her voice was sharp. We need to talk about this situation. There's no situation. Everyone thinks we excluded you. That we didn't know about your success. It's humiliating. You did exclude me. You didn't know about my success. Those are both true statements. We didn't exclude you. That message was taken out of context. Thanksgiving is only for family members who've actually made something of themselves. What context makes that okay? Silence. Then, your father was having a bad day. He didn't mean it. He's been having a bad day for 8 years? You never told us you were doing well. You never asked. You told relatives I was going through something. You removed me from group chats. You made it clear you didn't want me at family events. I kept my voice perfectly level. That's fine. You made your choice. But you don't get to be upset that other people now know what that choice was. So you're just going to cut us off? Your own parents. No. You cut me off years ago. I'm just accepting it. I hung up. Blocked the number. Made coffee and opened my laptop to finish prep work for a client presentation. At 11 a.m. Carol called. Your parents are at my house. They want me to give them your address. Don't. I wasn't planning to. But you should know, they're telling everyone you're being unreasonable. That they tried to apologize and you won't accept it. They didn't apologize. They got mad that they looked bad. I know. Half the family knows too. Your mom's trying to do damage control, but people remember all the times she said you were struggling or going through something. Rachel told everyone about that Christmas where your mom said you were too depressed to come, but Rachel saw you'd posted photos from Cabo with friends. That was 3 years ago. People remember. Your parents built a narrative. Now it's collapsed. She paused. What are you doing for Thanksgiving? I'm hosting dinner here. 20 people. Friends, coworkers, a few college friends who are in town. Good. You shouldn't be alone. The dinner was perfect. My catering company delivered everything at 2 p.m. By 4 p.m. my house was full of people who actually knew me. My lead developer brought homemade pie. My former college roommate flew in from Seattle. We ate on the deck as the sun set over the Pacific. Nobody asked about my family. They knew enough not to. At 6 p.m. my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. This is your mother. I got a new phone. Happy Thanksgiving. We miss you. I stared at it for a long moment. We miss you. Not, I'm sorry. Not, I was wrong. Just an expectation that I would accept the fiction that they'd always cared, always been proud, always wanted me there. I deleted the message without responding. My friend Sarah sitting next to me noticed. You okay? Yeah. I set my phone down and looked at the people around my table. People who'd celebrated my successes, who'd supported me through the hard early years, who'd never once made me feel like I had to earn the right to exist in their space. I'm perfect. 6 months later I hosted another Thanksgiving. 23 people this time. Grandma Jean came from Ohio. Carol brought her husband. Uncle Mark flew in from Chicago. My team brought their families. My parents sent another text. Happy Thanksgiving. Miss you. I deleted it and turned my phone off. Later, standing on my deck with Carol watching the sunset, she asked, do you think they'll ever understand? No. They'd have to accept that they were wrong. That they hurt me. That they excluded me for years while I was building something real. I took a sip of wine. That would require them to look at their own behavior honestly. They're not capable of that. Does it still hurt? Sometimes. I considered the question carefully. But not the way it used to. I spent years trying to make them see me. Trying to prove I was worth their respect. I finally realized I already have respect. From people who matter. Clients who trust me with million-dollar projects. Employees who bet their careers on my leadership. Friends who show up. And your parents. They wanted access to my success, not me. There's a difference. I gestured toward the party inside. These people wanted me even when success wasn't guaranteed. That's family. Carol clinked her glass against mine. To real family. To real family, I echoed. My phone was still off. Inside, people I'd chosen were laughing, eating, celebrating. Outside, the ocean stretched to the horizon, endless and indifferent. My house. My life. My peace. They'd wanted Thanksgiving only for family members who'd actually made something of themselves. I'd made something of myself. Just not for them.